Good morning and welcome to the video. The title for today is The Universe is Taking Care of It for You, and you need to let it do its job. Okay? So, it is a very common misconception that your efforts are what is creating things in your world. So the things that you do, the action that you take, that's what most people believe, okay? However, what's really going on is that you are the conceiver of ideas. So you get an idea like this would be nice, or I'd like to know this, or I'd like this improvement. That's your job. And the universe's job is to make that stuff happen. So, when you don't understand this mechanism, people block their miracles. Okay, so instead of just allowing the things that they want to come to them easily, they refuse to let the universe do its job. And so instead of letting the universe just do it for you, a lot of times what you'll find is that you're trying to do the universe's job. And when you do that, you block your miracles. So today, I'm going to tell you and show you 4 different ways that we commonly block our miracles, we block our manifestations, we don't let the universe do its job. So that these are things you're aware of, okay? So that you stop doing them. And, even if you're like me, from time to time, I'll still catch myself doing some of these. And so these are important things to be aware of and to keep an eye out, okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to let the universe take care of it for you. Now, as you're coming in, please go ahead and like the video, of course. If you enjoy law of attraction content, make sure to subscribe to me and turn on your notifications, because I do go live pretty much every week. I didn't go live last week, but pretty much every week I do. And let's say some hellos real quick. I do see we've got a super here. Thank you, Peace, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Looks like we've got Luis is here today. Good morning, Luis. Good morning, Abundant Queen, Island Joy, Cambria, Rainbow Traveling Yogi, Annette, Natalie, Adrian, Maricel, Cowlitz Bill. My lovely assistant Mary is here today. Lori is here. Mark is here. ASMR Tingled Pink is here. Hello, God Particle 17. Nice to see you. Hello, R. Mary Patrick. Nice to see you. I am Lily Rain. Hello. Nice to see you guys. And of course, oh, it's good evening, not good morning where you are. Okay, well, that happens. As you guys are coming in, if you have questions about manifestation, feel free to go ahead and drop them into the chat, because as usual, I'll be pausing from time to time to answer some of those for you guys. But let's go ahead and get started, okay? So today we're talking about how the universe is taking care of it for you. And I'm gonna tell you guys about 4 ways that people commonly block the universe from doing its job, okay? So this one I think is perhaps the most common. So let's just get this one out of the way. And the way I would explain this is strategizing, okay? Strategizing, or attempting to figure out problems, okay? So let me give you an example of this, because this was a big example that happened to me this week. So I am reminded from time to time about these things myself. And this was kind of a high priority issue for me. And you'll find that when you guys have high priority issues, you will often screw this one up. So I'm going to share with you my story, and then hopefully you can kind of relate it to things that you've seen going on in your world from time to time, because this is something that we all do from time to time. So like I've been talking about for the last few weeks, I've been working on a new program, and my new program launched on Thursday. Okay, so the program went live. Now, right before it went live, okay, so just a few hours, I want to say it was like 3 hours before the launch of this program, I did a final check. So this is something I always do, if I'm launching a new course, a new program, is, just make sure everything's working. I'll run it start to finish. So I'll go in as if I'm a new user, and I'll open up the product. I'll attempt to check out with it. I'll make sure that everything works. Just one final run through, okay? Now, I did this, and the payment wouldn't process. So I tried to do a credit card payment and it wouldn't go through. Like, okay, that's odd. Maybe I put in my credit card wrong. So I tried it again. Didn't work again. Tried it again. Didn't work again. Now I'm like, uh-oh, this might be a problem. Now, because this is a high priority issue to me, okay, this is something where I've got a lot of people that are going to be coming to the site in just a few hours. It's something I've been working on for a long time. There's lots of money kind of on the line with this. Instead of just letting it kind of solve itself, I decided to strategize. So I started calling the credit card merchant provider, talking with them. They couldn't figure it out. I tried running some different payments. So I tried running a PayPal payment, and now the PayPal wasn't working either. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? And then I'm like, you know what? I got to get tech support involved. So I send an email out to get some assistance with that. But unfortunately, the person that would usually help me with this is in a different country, in a very different time zone. And it's very likely that he may have signed off for the day. So I've sent him this email and I'm waiting. Is he going to respond? Is he going to check? I'm checking my email. Is he going to come? No help, nothing. And so I'm really starting to freak out. Okay. I can't process payments. I've got all this traffic going to my site. What am I going to do? Okay. Well, fortunately, I know this. Okay. Now I kind of fell for it, but I know this, which is that you don't want to strategize when you're in the middle of a panic or when you're trying to solve a problem. Instead, you really want to practice just stepping away and letting the universe solve it for you. So although I spent a few hours kind of freaking out about this, at one point I'm like, well, it is what it is. I guess we're just going to have to stop this promotion, pause all the emails, let everyone know it's going to be a week later. And I'm like, all right, I give up. I give up. In the moment I decided this, literally, the moment I decided this, all of a sudden a little thought came into my mind about a little change that I'd made to that page. It was a little change. It had nothing to do with the checkout page, but it was a little change that I had made earlier that day. I'm like, I wonder if that little change was what was holding up the payments. And sure enough, it was. It was a 2-second fix. The payment started working and the launch went as expected. So this is something you have to understand. When you guys start wanting something to happen and you start trying to strategize, how do I fix this? How do I make this come? Why isn't it working? All you're doing is blocking things from working. One way that you block it is through ideas and inspiration. In all of that stress, I became closed off to the solution. But the second I said, all right, whatever, now all of a sudden, the answer just came to me. And so you guys do a lot more service for yourself by putting things down rather than trying to figure them out. Okay, so this is the first way that people often block things from working out for them, block the guidance from the universe. You know, you need to just kind of put things down, stop strategizing. Again, you're the conceiver of ideas. I want my website to work. Let the universe figure it out for you. Okay, this is the first way. But we have more. Of course, we have more. And yes, just to go ahead and mention while it's on my mind, again, that program is live now. It's not for all of you. Some of you guys, this program isn't going to be for, but I've been getting lots of questions from people in the chat about manifesting sales. And so I went ahead and created a new manifestation program for those of you who are either sales professionals or if you run your own business. This is, you know, really all the technique that I use to attract money into my business and to create sales. And so it really doesn't matter what kind of sales you're doing, whether you're doing in person, if you are doing over the phone, if you're doing online. These are the energetic things that you need to be projecting in order to allow people to come in and want to buy your product easily. So in this program, we do talk a lot about some of the vibration killers for salespeople. So if you've been struggling with, let's say, rejection, a lot of people seem to have issues with dealing with rejection, and that kind of interferes with their ability to make a sale. Or if you're concerned about people lowballing you, not taking you on. Maybe you feel guilty about charging prices. We go over all that kind of stuff. And so that program is officially live now. We're doing the launch week right now. Checkout page is working. Okay. We've got lots of people that have successfully gotten a sale at this point. And so if you're interested in checking out that program and seeing if you're a good fit for it, there is a link in the description of this video. If you're on Instagram, the link is in the link tree in my bio. So check out that page, see if it's a good fit for you. And if it is, make sure to go ahead and sign up this week, because during this launch week, you can get it for 50% off. And to get it for 50% off, just use the code WIN, W-I-N, at checkout. All right, that's the business. Let's see what we got going on here. I see we got another super here. Ooh. Broken Dream 9. Thank you for the super. Broken Dream 9 says, Andrea, my life is in shambles. I have the naughtiest 5-year-old boy. Always bad reports, getting into fights, a baby that won't sleep, toxic, narcissistic in-laws who live with me, a husband that won't advocate for me. I've tried having a high vibe, not working. Well, when it rains, it pours, right? Okay. A couple things. I'm looking at the username, Broken Dream, okay? The reason why I'm pointing this out, the labels that we put on ourselves, even with like usernames or, whatever, we want to use something that is optimistic. Okay, so I'm labeling myself as a broken dream. Okay, so you see how that association is being made. That's just a small thing, but that I've noticed. But make sure that we're not labeling ourselves in this way. Okay, please understand that when we're starting to notice that things aren't working, we do attract more things that aren't working. And so the real key with all of this is to try and figure out what is working and give that more airtime. Okay. Now, I will say for myself, when my son was young, my son was exceptionally naughty, okay? I was fairly new to learning about the law of attraction. I learned about it when he was born. So as he was young, I was going through kind of my growing pains with the law of attraction, really figuring out how to use it towards my advantage. And he really did push me quite a bit. So he got kicked out of preschool. He was into all kinds. He was the kind of kid where he'd be screaming at the restaurant. I'd have to carry him out under my arm. He would punch me. He would hit me. Like, he was aggressive when he was young. Now, at the time, it really felt like everything was kind of out of control. I was doing everything wrong. But what I will say is, in retrospect, I can see that my son was teaching me to let go. Because I really started to see a turnaround with my son when I stopped trying to control the outcomes and needing him to behave and stop worrying about what he was doing. He started to turn around for me. And you'll notice that a lot of times with teenagers too, sometimes people have a hard time with their teenagers. As teenagers can get very combative. The more the parent tries to fix the problem, the more combative the child will become. And the child is actually teaching you to let go. This doesn't work. Okay. So the reason why I'm telling you that is that when you see these things, what all of these things are showing you is that right now, the way I'm thinking about this isn't working. Right now, the way I'm going about this isn't working. And instead of just accepting that guidance, I'm fighting against it. Okay. So I want all of you guys to understand, when you see things not working in your reality, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you can't work it out. It just means in that moment, we're focused on things not working out. And so reality is showing that to you as a stop sign. Okay. So every single time one of these issues pops up, we need to stop what we're doing and redirect. Don't engage. Go take a nap, go relax, reframe the situation. And we have to make that habitual. Okay. That's the big thing. The main thing is I'm seeing things I don't like and I'm reacting to it. And then I'm creating more things that I don't like. I hope that makes sense. Good question. Good question. Peace asks, how can you attract coaching clients who are healthy and no longer part of the never-ending self-help spiral? Are my clients and their issues always a reflection of me? Thank you. Ooh, that's a good question. You know, coaching is one of those kind of tricky areas. It's easy to kind of get into this territory with coaching. So I'm just going to put this out here. If you're doing coaching, a lot of times the way that we'll look at it is these people need help. Okay, these people have problems. And so it's very easy as somebody who does coaching to start to attract people who are perhaps needy, or perhaps they're not really growing. They seem like they're kind of stuck in self-help. They're not really flourishing. Okay. So one thing that can be helpful is to look at yourself more as these people are empowered, or they're empowering, or they are leveling up. Okay, so I'm attracting people to me whose desire it is to level up. I'm attracting to me people who are invested in their progress, okay, rather than I'm attracting people to me who have problems or who need help. The message that we put out is very important, okay? So if I'm looking at it as these are people who need help, I'm going to start to attract to me people who are more disenfranchised. Okay, so that's one of the biggest tweaks that we need to look at with coaching. And I know it can be tricky because when people come to you for coaching, they're coming because they want help, but you have to reframe that to they're looking to level up. Okay, it's opposite sides of the same coin. Okay. All right, I see another super here. I'll get that one in just a moment. Thanks, Pri. But let's go ahead and move to the next point here. Make sure I get through everything I got to talk about today. All right, again, today we're talking about the universe is taking care of it for you, and you need to let it do its job, okay? Your job is the conceiver of ideas. I would like this. I'd like to see that. I'd like this solution. I'd like this answer. You are the conceiver of ideas. The universe is the one that delivers it to you. The minute you start going in there and trying to figure out how to make it come to you, you block it. Okay, so that was the first one, is strategizing. Strategizing. Here's the next one. Oh, God, I was the worst at this. I'm really good at it now. This one I would say I've got down pretty good, but I sucked so bad at this one when I first started. All right, not accepting help. Okay? Not accepting help. A lot of times you guys have things that you want. Maybe they're answers, maybe they're, you want things to be built or you want things to be created. But a lot of times people have this mindset of, I want to do it myself. And this mindset is just it's totally going to block everything. You do not want to have the attitude of, I'm going to do it all myself. Instead, if somebody offers you assistance, you want to be in the habit of graciously accepting the assistance that comes to you. Because again, you're the conceiver of ideas. Okay, I would like for this to happen. Sometimes the way that it will happen is that the universe will provide you with a person who will do it for you. But if you're chronically in the habit of blocking that, you're going to find it's very challenging for you to get ahead. Okay, so, one way that this kind of materialized in my life, and some of you guys may see this as well, but with my relationship with my husband. So before I knew anything about the law of attraction at all, I really was big on, I'm going to do it myself. Okay, you can't trust anybody to do it for you. You need to do it yourself. That was kind of my motto. And so let's say I was doing something like bringing in groceries from the car, okay? Maybe my husband would come out and go to help me, and I'd be like, no, I've got it, okay? Or maybe I'd be struggling with the pickle jar, and he'd go to take it from me to help me. I'd be like, no, I've got it. In fact, I would almost be offended that he was trying to help. Now, one thing that I noticed is that when I started learning about the law of attraction, I really started to internalize this idea of ask, believe, and receive. And at one point, I really made it my mission to do everything that I could to be a good receiver. So if I attracted anything to me that was positive, I wanted to accept it graciously. And so my husband was the first place that I noticed this, is that he would be giving me things. I'm like, instead of blocking it, just receive it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, lo and behold, what has actually ended up happening is that one thing right there has transformed my whole life, because I found now that there's not that much that I actually have to do. I don't have to bark orders at people to do things for me. I don't have to figure things out myself. A lot of times when I need something done, somebody will just magically show up and do it for me because I'm not blocking that by saying, let me do it myself. So for instance, the other day I was at the gym and there was a machine that I wanted to use. I've used this machine 1,000 times. I know how to use this machine. I know how to set this machine. And it needed to be set a little bit differently. Okay, so it needed to be adjusted for my height. And so I go to adjust it. It's not working. I can't seem to get it to adjust. I'm like, what is going on? Well, magically, someone just shows right up. Excuse me, ma'am. This is how you can fix it. It's been stuck. And he just goes in there and fixes it for me. And it's fixed. I didn't need to struggle. I didn't need to work at it. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is if you're in the habit of accepting help when it comes, this is the kind of stuff that will happen, is that there may be things that you need or that you want. And because you're in the habit of accepting assistance, a lot of times people will just show up to fix problems for you or show up to bring the things that you want. But if you're in the habit of saying, no, I'll do it myself, you do not get all of that help. And if it comes, you block it. Okay, so this is one of the ways that the universe tries to deliver miracles to you is through other people. One of these ways is through them offering assistance. And so many people have this attitude of, I'm going to do it myself. That attitude is exceptionally limiting. It is basically saying, I'm going to do the universe's job for myself, which you can't. Okay, so this is one of those habits I want you guys all to try to practice, is that if somebody goes to do something for you or assist you in some way, resist the temptation to yank it away from them. I can do it myself. And instead just say, thank you. Okay. When you do this, you're going to allow a lot more things to work on your behalf. So this is an important one. Let's grab this question here. Pre asks, hi, Andrea. My savings drained this last year despite me spending more freely in abundant frame of mind. I also find that I only earn lots when I work hard and attract less when I cut down my work. Okay. Yeah, so there may be some belief structures there that I have to work hard to make money. If I don't work hard, it's not going to come. And so one of the things that I do teach is that money can just flow easily. Okay. It can and it will. However, if you have the attitude that I need to work, if you have the belief structure that I need to work to make money and you stop working, well, now that belief structure isn't being fulfilled. Okay. So it's not about, let me just stop working. It's about, I need to adjust into the idea that money comes easily. Okay. So sometimes when we hear this advice, what happens is we end up kind of doing the action without having the belief underneath it first. And if we do that, then that can create these kind of quagmires. Okay. So what I would recommend, we don't want to just take what we're doing and throw it away and go in the other direction. Instead, we want to start to observe and notice how money comes easily, or how when I spend more comes back. And we want to do it within a framework where it's moderately comfortable. Okay. So, if you hear this advice from me that the freer you spend, the more money comes back, this is true. Okay. Now, if you hear that from me and you're used to spending maybe $50 easily, you may suddenly say, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 easily. That may be too far too fast. So instead, you want to use momentum. Try to spend a little bit more and notice that more comes back, and a little bit more and notice that more comes back, because then you're starting to shift the belief with the action. Using momentum will help narrow this in for you. Okay. The same thing with the working hard. If you're someone who works hard all the time and you're like, well, you know what? Andrea says it can just come easily, so I'm just going to camp out on the couch. It's a radical shift in belief structure and the mind isn't quite there. So instead of going full force to nothing, a little bit less, and let momentum pick you up. Great question. Thank you, Pri. We got another one here from Peace. Thank you, Peace. If life is a mirror, then my clients and their issues are also a mirror of me, right? Is that why many people suddenly stop doing one-on-one coaching? They're a mirror of your belief structures not necessarily like, if I think something is a certain way, I may not necessarily believe I'm that way, but if I'm saying I believe you're this way, then they're going to be that way. So they are a mirror of your beliefs, but not necessarily an exact replica of yourself. Okay. So if people are just stop doing one-on-one coaching, the problem isn't, well, maybe you are someone who stops doing one-on-one coaching. Okay, maybe that's the case. Or it could be there's an expectation, or I'm noticing people are stopping. They're stopping, so they stop more. They're stopping, so they stop more. Okay, so the mirror is of what I believe. Not necessarily everyone's exactly like me, because you will notice that people in your reality, they're not all like you. Some of them are very different from you, but they do match your expectations of how they are going to be. Hope that makes sense. Good question. Thank you, Aesthetic Mommy. That's quite the compliment. I appreciate you. Banji asks, hey, Andrea, how do I deal with autism burnout as I spiral a lot and break down in tears a lot because of my autism? Okay. Becoming more keen on your energy. Okay. So we don't just go from being perfectly calm to burnout in a second. Okay. So the way we manage burnout, autism or not, when you start to notice you're getting stressed, when you start to notice you're feeling overworked, catch it quickly. That's the time to go relax. That's the time to take a break. Don't keep going until it's out of control, because again, momentum is the key. All right. So a lot of times people feel like their emotions just got away from them. The reason why is that the early signs we didn't pay attention to. And the early signs could be something as simple as I'm hungry right now. I'm yawning a lot right now. I feel a little ache or pain right now. The minute you get negative feedback is a good sign that, okay, we need to tweak a little bit. We need to adjust a little bit. So just try to catch the discomfort earlier, redirect earlier, and you'll avoid getting into the burnout trap. Okay, good question. All right, guys. Again, today we're talking about trust. Not trust. Well, it is trust. Talking about how the universe is taking care of it for you and how you need to let it do its job. Okay, so the first thing is stop trying to figure everything out. Okay, if you're having a problem or if you're not sure how to manifest it, put it down, let it go. Go do something else. Answers will come, solutions will come. Okay, just like I was talking about with that checkout page. The more I kind of hung in there, it wasn't fixing itself. It wasn't until I said, all right, screw it, this is over. That's when the answer came. Okay, because the universe solved it for me. I'm not the one who solved it. Okay, the next one is not accepting help. All right, here's another one. This is similar to the last one. Please remember, again, you are the conspirer of ideas. You are like the manager, okay? So it's your job as the king or the queen of the universe, your universe, to decide, I would like this in my kingdom. I would like that in my kingdom. The universe does the work. You're not getting up off your throne and going out in the fields and doing the work, okay? This is a very important thing to understand. You conceive of the ideas, and then the universe will solve things for you. So here's another common way that the universe will solve things for you that people very frequently block, okay? It is the, yeah, I already know, okay? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know. Now, what I mean by this is, again, very frequently, when you guys have things that you want, a lot of times the way that things are going to come to you are through other people. Sometimes through them giving you assistance. So like that gentleman that helped me with the machine, that was one way. Sometimes it is through their words or through their advice or through their ideas. So let's say that you want to do something like you want to manifest a job at a particular law firm. Okay. There's a particular law firm you're really excited about. You want to work there. Okay. You don't know how to get there. You don't know anything about it. But one of your friends or somebody that you know comes up and says, oh, hey, you know what? I know somebody over at that law firm. Maybe you could talk to them. A lot of times what people will do in that situation is, yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. No. I mean, I've got it. It's fine. And they won't accept the advice. This is another one I had to learn the hard way because I was like, I mean, I'm kind of a know-it-all if you can't tell. I think I know things. And so if you think you know things, this is one you may struggle with, which is not accepting advice or information from other people. The more I have taught myself to listen to what people are suggestions that they're giving me, the more I've found that frequently, very frequently, their advice is precisely what I was looking for. But before understanding this, I would just, yeah, I got it. Thinking I knew more than that person or thinking I knew better than that person. And so, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about here today is kind of about dropping the ego. Stop trying to do it all yourself. Stop trying to handle all the problems. Stop trying to figure it out yourself. If somebody gives you an answer to something, listen. Because if it's related to something that you want, please understand that very frequently, that's the universe trying to show you the way. Okay? More often than not. And so this is one that people get into trouble with. Okay? So always listen when a solution is offered to you. Now, it may not be comfortable for you to just do what that person says. So you don't necessarily have to go all the way in, okay? But at least start to get into the habit of listening, and thinking about what they've said. Please understand, when you're the conceiver of ideas, you have to get in resonance with them, okay? So if there's something that you want, you put it out there. The solution's trying to get to you, but you have to get in resonance with it. You have to get in resonance with it. So when the answer first comes to you, you may not quite be in resonance with it. So you need to be in the mindset of, I'm just going to listen. I'm going to listen. At least allow the idea in. This, yeah, I already know, or yeah, I don't need to listen to you thing. Yeah, but my life is different. You don't understand. All of that right there is a very common blocking mechanism. Okay, and if you resolve that one, you're going to let a lot more solutions into your life, a lot more manifestations into your life quickly. That one is very, very important. Oh, we got some super. Okay. Let's get them. Swirling G. Thank you for the super. You mentioned your brother is considering retirement. How do you think about retirement and financial freedom? And once somebody reaches that point, how can they discover what's next for them? Yeah, my brother's like 36. You go retire. Okay, what do I think about it? I think there's a lot of things I could say about this. I would say one of the big things about retirement is most people have this idea that I need to squirrel away a bunch of nuts to live off of at some obscure point in the distance. Okay? And this way of looking at things can be kind of screwy because what it does is it pushes off your enjoyment into the future. And it also creates this resistant idea that I somehow need a pile of something in order to do what it is I need to do. Okay. Now, what's going to be better for everyone is the more you understand that your abundance is created in the moment, that you are always taken care of right now, and therefore you don't need to stress about the pile. Now, when you don't need to stress about the pile, it's much easier to accumulate the money. But if you're sitting there worried about your money for the future, that can push it off. So this has been something that's been very instrumental for me in attracting more abundance and attracting more savings, is getting away from the idea that somehow I have to save for a problem in the future. And that's the way a lot of people look at retirement. It's a problem I need to solve. And again, like we mentioned earlier, we don't want to label things as problems or we're going to create more problems from them. Okay. So it's a much better plan to think of the idea of I've always been taken care of. My needs are always met. I've been kicking around here for 45 years just fine. So if vibration is vibration, it stands to reason that I've always been taken care of. I'm always going to be taken care of. And now that I'm putting that message out, more money can come to me to take care of me. Okay? Hope that makes sense. So much to say about that. Hallie Cherry, thank you for the super. Hallie wants to affirm that God can still give me XYZ to mix prayer with manifestation. Is that strong enough compared to saying I am or God will? I think it's fine. I am is great if you can buy it. Okay. So sometimes it's hard to believe that I am wealthy. Okay. And if that's the case, then God can give it to me might be a little easier. So all of these are good. I would say which one resonates and makes me feel the best is the one that's going to work the best. Okay. God will is a bit more demanding, right? But God can is a little bit more general. So I kind of like the God can give me because it this is possible rather than I know it's going to happen, because if you don't quite yet feel that you know it can happen, those other two might feel off. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's no hard and fast rule of one affirmation is always going to work. Depending on where you are vibrationally with a subject, you may be able to be more specific with an affirmation, or you may need to be more general. Okay, so for the things that feel far away, God can still give it to me is a little bit more general, easier to believe, going to make you feel better. For things that you feel like you're probably going to get, I am wealthy, might work. Okay, good question. Camellia, thank you for the super. Camellia says, how important is it to write, think, say our wish to the universe in a sentence? Isn't it limiting? What if we forget some important details? Or is it just to help us achieve the required feeling? How specific should we be? Ooh. Sometimes you ask without asking. I think that's an important thing to understand. Creating your reality is not a formal stand-on ceremony kind of process. Okay, so it's not like every day we wake up and we say, okay, universe, I would like for you to put the sun up today. I would like for there to be a good quality of air and running water. And I would like, you don't do that. Okay. It is all created kind of in the background through your desires. Okay. There's nothing wrong with asking for what you want, provided it feels good to ask, but it's not even required. Okay. Now, the details, it depends. I mean, if there's something that you're just kind of coming up with just for funsies, it can help to flesh out the details a little bit. Okay. But yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, the feeling is really the most important thing. Am I in a good state? Am I feeling good? Am I feeling optimistic? You will do more for manifesting things that you want by adjusting how you feel and just letting things show up rather than trying to adjust how you ask the universe, which kind of implies that I need to do some work. I need to strategize. This isn't easy. Okay. Really good question. Thank you for asking. Okay. Again, today, guys, we are talking about the universe is taking care of it for you, and you need to let it do its job. Okay? You need to do it. Stop thinking that you're the one that's going to make it happen. You are the conceiver of ideas. You are the conceiver of the desire. The universe brings it to you. That's the way it works. So the first thing is stop strategizing so much. Stop trying to figure out how to make it happen. Okay? You're the asker. The more you can be easy about that, the easier things will come. The next is when people show up to help you, let them. This is one of the big ways that the universe will help solve a lot of your problems is by bringing people into your life to do things on your behalf. You do not want to be in the habit of saying, I got this, I can do it, don't help me, okay? The other way with people is in listening to them when they give you advice. If you're having a problem with something and someone says, hey, you should really look at this, open your ears and consider it, okay? Because a lot of times the universe is trying to give you guidance on where to go through other people, okay? And our egos can get in the way and block the whole thing up. All right, for the next thing. This is another way, and I was terrible at this too. Speed and tempo, okay? Speed and tempo. Please understand that the way that you choose to interact with your world is the way that it's going to work itself out. Okay? So you really want to have a relaxed attitude because here's the thing. The universe is taking care of it for you. If you really believed that the universe was taking care of it for you, how would you be acting? Would you be racing around? Would you be rushing? or would you be calm? Would you be moving at a leisurely pace? So this is a very important thing that blocks things from coming. It blocks your miracles, is when you don't know how something's going to manifest, or you don't know how a problem is going to be solved, and you allow that to turn into frenetic behavior where you start moving more, you start pacing, maybe you start talking about it very rapidly, maybe you start rushing around. That type of behavior is always a block on manifestation. And not only is it a block on manifestation, it will create all kinds of problems in your world. So the more you start rushing, the more you start putting out that message that the universe isn't going to take care of it for me. And so the things that you want don't come, and you create more problems. So this was something I had to correct within myself. I was terrible at this one too. I was a rusher. Okay. I was moving fast all the time. And one of the first things that I started to notice about the law of attraction was this dynamic right here, and started to go to work with it on myself. And so today is pretty well conditioned that if I start to notice that things aren't working out, even though the temptation is to move faster, I will deliberately slow myself down. Okay. And then things start to work. So this mechanism is exceptionally powerful. You want to use this one all the time. So another example from the gym, this happened maybe a week ago or so, but for whatever reason, I was having a moment at the gym. Okay. I interfered with somebody, gave me a dirty look. And then all of a sudden, one of the machines I wanted to use, somebody was on it. And then all of a sudden I was having a hard time lifting something. And I started to notice that what is usually a fun gym routine for me just wasn't working. And I noticed that I was starting to move a little bit quicker. I was trying to get to the next machine and get this to work, and things were starting to get out of control. So I noticed that because I understand this mechanism now. When I see that, I will immediately say, okay, deep breath, walk slowly. I will take my sweet time wiping down the machine. I will take my sweet time walking to the next location. And it is magical, because what was starting to be a chaotic gym day, the second I did this, I got off a machine, I leisurely wiped it down, deep breaths, I walked over to the next place I needed. And as I'm walking, the person on the machine I wanted got up and walked away. So it was open right when I got there. Kept moving at that pace, same thing happened on the next one. And so when I have this attitude, when I go around the gym, this is what happens for me, is everything I need to use at my gym opens up for me when I want it to open up. And I go to a busy gym. Okay, there's a lot of people at my gym, and a lot of people complain about not being able to get on machines or it being too crowded. But if I go nice and slow and easy and I don't rush and I allow people to get off rather than trying to get there quickly, they jump off the machines and let me in. So rushing is another very common way that people block their manifestations. Again, when you're rushing, you're putting out a message that says, I don't trust that this is going to work out. Okay. And you don't want to be doing that, because when you're putting out that message, you block the universe from providing you with the things that you want to happen. Okay. So keep that one in mind. Girl About Town 100. Some years in my biz are amazing. Some are tumbleweeds. I've been trying to close a few new clients for 1 year, but there's always obstacles. Now AI risks shutting me down. It doesn't feel easy. Do I just give up? Yeah, so sometimes we feel like we're on a roll. And when you feel like you're on a roll, things just work. It just works. And then sometimes you may find that business slows down. And if you start worrying about it, it will keep slowing down. And so this is an important dynamic to understand. It's not that it has to end or that it could necessarily work. It's that, what am I putting out in the present moment? Okay, that's the big thing. Even if you guys are having a miserable year, okay, and things are just not working, you could change it all today. Literally, literally. By just simply, okay, I'm just going to sit here today and I'm simply going to focus on the things that I have, the things that are working out, things that are going well. And as more good things are attracted to me, I'm going to appreciate and acknowledge them. And then more good things are going to happen. I'm going to appreciate and acknowledge. And you can get on another tear where things work out. The big thing is, though, just you have to have that focus. I'm going to focus in on what's working rather than be paying attention to all this stuff that I don't like. AI. Okay, so a lot of people are worried about the AI. Okay. AI is changing things, sure, but why does it have to be a bad thing? That's the thing I think a lot of people need to kind of wrap their mind around is there's this assumption that because AI may be coming in and doing other kinds of jobs or doing things that I'm used to doing, that somehow I'm irrelevant or somehow this isn't going to work out. But what if AI is assisting you to level you up? What if it's doing that? Okay. So different people are having different results with AI. So some people are having this experience where the introduction of AI is reducing their experience because they see it as a threat. Some people are having the experience where AI is boosting them because they see it as something that can level them up. Okay, so that's the way we want to look at it. That it's helping me level up, it's helping me become better. Okay, good question. I haven't mentioned this yet. If you guys are new to my work and you have not yet, please make sure to take my manifesting test. I got to put this in here. So if you enjoy the law of attraction, but you are not sure that you really are the one in charge of your life yet, this particular test is free. Okay, it's 5 minutes and it will allow you to put something out and watch it come back. So if you haven't taken this test yet, please take it because it's going to show you that you really are the creator of your reality. And it's very quick, it's just 5 minutes. You can take it at manifestingtest.com. Again, that's manifestingtest.com. The link is in the link tree in my bio on Instagram, and you can also find the link in the description of this video. Oh, we got another one here? What do we get? Oh, another one from Hallie. Thank you, Hallie, for the super. Hallie says, how do you get rid of a third party to be chosen for things like jobs where there are others going after the same thing, or should you just ignore them? Ooh, get rid of them. You don't need to get rid of them. How about this? Good thing there's a third party because I already know how awesome I am, and there's a good chance that the third party is not nearly as awesome as me. So when the boss interviews the third party, they're going to be kind of disappointed, and I'm going to look really good next to this third party. It's great dating advice too, guys. Okay, you guys see people as competition. Instead, look at them. They're going to make me look good. Try that. Invite it in. Especially if it's something like it's a job and you know it's something that you're good at. Hype yourself up. These are things I'm good at. I know I'm so good at this, and this. And there's no way anybody else is going to be able to outshine me with that. So let the third party come in and demonstrate to the potential boss that they're lacking in a quality that I have. Okay? Great question. Luis, thank you for the super. Oh, that's a big one. Thanks, Luis. Hi, Andrea. Let's be honest. There are times when important, stressful scheduled meetings are unavoidable, no matter how carefree you are. How do you personally prepare for those, even if those are very rare, because you practice the law of attraction? Thanks a lot. Okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's only going to be stressful if I'm stressed out. Okay? So there may be something coming up. How I choose to walk into that is how it's going to be. So if I see a meeting coming up and in my mind I'm thinking, this is going to be so stressful, this is going to be so hard, I really don't want to go to this, well, then it's going to be that way. But if instead there's a meeting that's coming up and I can sit here and think about, well, you know what, it'd be nice to catch up with this person, and well, I can get dressed up for this meeting and that'd be fun. And you know what, there's a coffee place right next door that I really like. So after the meeting, I can go hit that coffee place, and that's a good thing. And I talk it up. Now, when I walk into the meeting, I'm not anticipating the stress. Okay. So whether the meeting is or is not stressful is up to me. Hope that makes sense. Excellent question. Inner Compass Wisdom. Finally catching a live stream. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Snow Sparkle says, trust me. Okay, you work in the industry. AI is going to make all of our lives better. It already has been. That's a good point too with the AI thing is look at how much easier it already has made things. Maybe it has caused some specific problems for some people, maybe some of you, but think about what it has made easier. Okay. And if we can lean into that idea that it's making my life easier, it's making things better, it's working on my behalf. Really, guys, my feeling on this is that this is just everyone's learning manifestation. You guys all learn manifestation so well that you attracted this handy dandy AI that can do all this stuff for you. So you don't have to do as much. Okay. So look at it that way. Thanks for bringing that up. Cambria asks, what does he do to be able to retire so young? Screws around. He works as a data analyst. Is what he does. It's a job. He wandered into this job. Very well paying job. He works remote. He barely has to work. He's good at manifesting. We'll put it that way. Very good. Yeah, you wouldn't think data analyst retiring at 35. He's doing it. Fairy Dragon, thank you for the super. Fairy Dragon says, Andrea, my B2B, that's business to business, folks, if you don't know what that means. My B2B customers are struggling financially a lot and buy less, and I hardly sell things B to C. How to make money again? Okay. Well, I mean, in a situation like this, we don't want to identify that the businesses are struggling, that the bookstores are struggling. Okay, maybe they're learning some challenges that are going to help improve their business. That's one thing. If you're not really feeling it, okay, so this is always my suggestion. If you're kind of in a situation where it just doesn't feel like it's working and it's hard for me to think positive and I'm running business, my suggestion is always sit there and just jot down like as many ideas as you possibly can for how could I sell more? Okay, how could I sell more? Maybe I go online, maybe I try this, maybe I do YouTube videos and promote that. Like as many different ideas as you can. Okay, get at least like 35, like a bunch. Just keep thinking. And then after you have those ideas, look through the list at the one that feels the most exciting or the most fun, and then go do it. Now, the reason why that's so powerful is that sometimes the energy gets stagnated in a department. Like it's hard for me to want to do this anymore. It's hard for me to really want to care. I don't feel like this is working. But if you try something slightly different, you approach it with fresh energy. And if it's an idea that looks like it's fun and exciting, it's easier for you to look at that one optimistically. And so within my own business, I've pivoted many times. So if something starts to feel stale, that's kind of what I'll do. I'll sit there and jot down a bunch of ideas. Which one sounds like fun? And I'll go do that. And then because I'm in a good place with that, I start to see benefit from that one rather than trying to fix the old way. But do keep in mind, we don't want to look at the current customers. They're failing. They're having a hard time. AI's taking their job. We don't want to do that with them. Okay. They're on the mend. They're figuring it out. They can blow up. They could blow up at any time. Maybe bookstores are going to have a moment. Who knows? Maybe they're coming back. Maybe people are sick of sitting on their computers and they actually want to go to the bookstore again, and bookstores are going to have a moment. You want to think of it that way. Great question. Great question. Kimberly KM on Instagram says, I spent money and it went fine. Afterwards, my panic attack turned into my heart racing for 2 weeks. I know it's okay, but my body doesn't help. You got stressed about spending the money? if that's a money, if this is another question related to spending money freely. When I talk about spending money freely, again, ease into it. Okay, because if I spend way more than I'm used to, that could happen where you start to question and stress about it. So, in this process of spending more freely to attract more, a little bit more and watch it come back. A little bit more, and then you become comfortable with the idea, oh, this is the way it works. I can trust this, rather than just trying to change the behavior without having the trust established first. Okay? Miriam, that's so nice. Miriam says, I'm a longtime follower and usually don't post or comment on lives, but wanted to say real quick that you bought my Entrepreneur Fastlane and launched your business with confidence after that course. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Miriam. I appreciate you. And thanks for buying it. Ooh. Yeah, so that's the Entrepreneur Fastlane program. So that's a program I created, I want to say probably about 3 years ago. Okay, so for business owners, that's a good one too. Again, a reminder that while I'm thinking about it, the new program just launched. So this one is similar to that program, but it's very specific to attracting sales, not necessarily building a business, but attracting in customers and clients, what kind of energy you need to be projecting in order to do that. So this one is not a course for everyone. If you are not in a sales profession or you do not run your own business, this is not the course for you. However, if you are and you find that you've been struggling with feelings of rejection, or maybe you feel pushy or awkward with trying to sell people, or maybe you feel like guilty for charging the prices that you charge, or you're fearing rejection, any of that kind of stuff. And you want to get rid of that and be able to project confidence and know that sales are going to come into you. This is a program I've been working on for the last few months. It did just launch on Thursday. I kind of told you a story of all of that at the beginning. But if you are interested in learning more about that program, make sure to check out the link now, because you can look through and see if it's a good fit for you. And if it is, make sure to grab it this week, because this week only it is 50% off for the launch week. And then after that, it's going to go up to full price. So the code to get it for 50% off is WIN, W-I-N. It will only be on sale again for this week. I won't put it on sale for at least a year. So if you're interested, check that out. Again, that's called Sales Magnet. Snow Sparkle, am I doing private coaching? No, not currently. I do have a couple programs that come with audio coaching where you can write in with questions and then I'll respond to those. But in terms of like the live coaching, no, I used to do it. It just became too big, too much. And I found that, my real interest was in building courses. So that's kind of what I've leaned into. And this is kind of my live coaching now when I come onto the lives. All right, guys. As far as when I'm going to be here next, my plan is to come back next Sunday. So I won't be taking a week off like this last week. So if you've enjoyed this live, make sure to come back next Sunday, same place, same time. In addition to that, if you, again, make sure to take the manifesting test. If you haven't taken that yet, again, that one's free. It's 5 minutes. Put something out, watch it come back, manifestingtest.com. Subscribe, like the video, turn on your notifications. I know we talked a lot about sales courses today, but perhaps you are interested in taking some manifestation courses, but sales isn't your thing. That's okay. I love making courses and I've done them on a whole bunch of topics. So if you're interested in manifesting abundance, maybe a passionate career, health, wellness, fitness, relationship goals, all kinds of stuff. Lots of courses that you can check out. I'm sure Mary will drop the link to see my courses in the chat. You can also find them in the description as well as on my link tree in my bio. And then finally, I also do have a membership program that some of you guys are involved in. If you're interested in checking that out and seeing what all is included, check out the link for that. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for coming along today, guys, and for all the supers and all the great questions. It's been lovely seeing you guys.